Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Canto 10, Chapter 2, the prayers by the demigods, text 23 and 24.
Translate into French.
Iti Guranta Madbhavat. Iti Guranta Madbhavat. Sannibhita Swayam Prabhu. Sannibhita Swayam Vibhu. Haste Pratiksham Staj Janma. Haste Pratiksham Staj Janma. Harir Vairanu Krit. Harir Vairunabandha Krit. Iti Gorata Madbhava. Sanibhita Swayam Viprabhu. Haste Pratiksham Staj Janma. Harir Vairunabandha Krit. Iti Gorata Madbhava. Sanibhita Swayam Prabhu. Haste pratiksham tasjanma
Aste pratiksham tasjanma
Harir veranubandha krit
Hare Veranubandha krit
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Sanivita Vayam Prabhu
Sanivrita swayam prabhu
Aste Pratiksham Tajamma
Aste pratiksham tasjanma
Hare Varanubandha Krit
Hare Veranubandha krit
Iti Guratmat Bhavata
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Sanivrita Swayam Prabhu
Sanivrita Swayam Prabhu
Aste Pratiksham Janma
Aste pratiksham tasjanma
Hare Veranubandha Krit
Harir veranubandha krit
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Sanivita Swayam Prabhu
Sanivita Swayam Prabhu
Aste Pratiksham Tajamma
Aste pratiksham tasjanma
Hare Veranubandha Krit
Harir veranubandha krit. What is it?
Iti Gauratamat Bhavat
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Sannivrita Swayam Prabhu
Sannivrita Swayam Prabhu
Aste Pratikshana Tajjanma
Aste pratiksham tasjanma
Hare Veranubandha Krit
Hare Veranubandha krit
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Sannivrita Swayam Prabhu
Sannivrita Swayam Prabhu
Aste Pratiksham Tajamma
Aste pratiksham tasjanma
Hare Varanubandha Krit
Hare Veranubandha krit
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Iti Gauratamat Bhava
Sannivrita Svayam Prabhu
Sannivrita Swayam Prabhu
Aste Pratiksham Tajjanma
Aste pratiksham tasjanma
Hare Varanubandha Krit
Hare Veranubandha krit
Iti,
Iti.
thus, thinking in the above mentioned way, Gauratamat Bhavat,
Gauratamat Bhava
from the most ghastly contemplation
from the most ghastly contemplation
of how to kill his sister,
of how to kill his sister,
Sanivritaha,
Sannivrita
refrained, Swayam, personally deliberating, Prabhu, one who was full in knowledge, Kamsa, Aste, remained, Pratikshan, awaiting the moment, Tajjanma, until the birth of him, Harihe, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, Vaira Anubandhakrit, determined to continue such enmity. Sukadeva Goswami said, deliberating in this way, Kamsa, although determined to continue in enmity toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead, refrained from the vicious killing of his sister. He decided to wait until the Lord was born and then do what was needed. Any response, please? Sukadeva Goswami said, deliberating in this way, Kamsa, although determined to continue in enmity towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, refrained from the vicious killing of his sister. He decided to wait until the Lord was born and then do what was needed. So there's no purport. We'll go on to the next verse. I'll just recite this personally. Sinasani Vishams Asina samivisham stistan punjanab prayatan mahim chintyano rishike chintayano rishikesham apashyatan mayam jagat. While sitting on his throne or in the sitting room, while lying on his bed, or indeed while situated anywhere, and while eating, sleeping or walking, Kamsa saw only his enemy, the Supreme Lord, Rishikesa. In other words, by thinking of his all-pervading enemy, Kamsa became unfavourably Krishna conscious. Purport by his divine, Purport by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Rupa Goswami has described the finest pattern of devotional service as Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam, or cultivating Krishna consciousness favourably. Kamsa, of course, was also Krishna conscious, but because he regarded Krishna as his enemy, even though he was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, his Krishna consciousness was not favourable for his existence. Krishna consciousness, favourably cultivated, makes one completely happy, so much so that a Krishna conscious person does not consider Kaivalya Sukham, or merging into the existence of Krishna, to be a great gain. Kaivalyam narakayate. For a Krishna conscious person, even merging into the existence of Krishna or Brahman, as impersonalists aspire to do, is uncomfortable. Kaivalyam narakayate tridas pur akash pushpayate. Karma is hankered to be promoted to the heavenly planets, but a Krishna conscious person considers such promotion a will o' the wisp, good for nothing. Durdan tendriya kala sarpa patali prokata tamstrayate. Yogis try to control their senses and thus become happy.
You become happy.
All their senses and thus become. But a Krishna conscious person neglects the method of yoga. He is unconcerned with the greatest of enemies, the senses, which are compared to snakes. For a Krishna conscious person who is cultivating Krishna consciousness favourably, the happiness conceived by the karmis, jnanis and yogis is treated as less than a fig. Kamsa, however, because of his cultivating Krishna consciousness in a different way, this is inimically, was unfavourable in all the affairs of his life, whether sitting, sleeping, walking or eating. He was always in danger. This is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. A non-devotee or atheist also cultivates God consciousness by trying to avoid God in everything. For example, so-called scientists who want to create life by combination of chemicals regard the external material elements as supreme. Such scientists do not like the idea that life is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. As clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita, Mamavamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta. The living entities do not arise from a combination of matter or material elements such as earth, water, air and fire, but are separate portions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one can understand this, the position of the living entity as a separate portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by studying the nature of the living entity, one can understand the nature of the Supreme Godhead, since the living entity is a fragmental sample of the Godhead. But because atheists are not interested in God consciousness, they try to be happy by cultivating Krishna consciousness in various unfavourable ways. Although Kamsa was always absorbed in thoughts of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was not happy. A devotee, however, whether sitting on a throne or beneath a tree, is always happy. Srila Rupa Goswami resigned from office as a government minister to sit beneath a tree, yet he was happy. Chakfaturnam asesha mandalapati Srinim sada tuchavat Sad Goswami Astikam 4. He did not care for his comfortable position as a minister. He was happy even beneath a tree in Vrindavan, favourably serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. For a non-devotee, the world is full of problems, whereas for a devotee, the entire world is full of happiness. Vishvam purna sukayate vidhi mahen radishcha katayate yad karunya kataksha vaibhava vatam tam goram evastumaha. Chaitanya Chandamrita 95. This comfortable position of a devotee can be established by the mercy of the Lord, of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yad minstito na dukena runapi vichalyate. Bhagavad Gita 6.22. Even when a devotee is superficially put into great difficulty, he is never disturbed. Om Gantirandasya Yanjana Shalakaya Chakshurmalitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Charine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachari Satarine. Hasina Samvisham Stishtam Punjana Paryatam Mahim Chintayan Chintayam to Rishikesham Apashat Tanmayam Jagat. While sitting on his throne or in his sitting room, while lying on his bed, or indeed while situated else anywhere, and while eating, sleeping or walking, Kamsa saw only his enemy, the Supreme Lord, Rishikesha. In other words, by thinking of his all-pervading enemy, Kamsa became unfavourably Krishna conscious. So this particular chapter, or the first part of this chapter, is explaining the situation when, 7 children of Devaki were 6 were killed by Kamsa, and 1 was seemingly aborted. It seemed like an abortion had taken place. But what had actually happened is that, Balaram had been transferred by the attraction of Yoga Maya to the womb of Rukmini. So that made an auspicious situation for the Supreme Lord to appear. These 6 sons of Devaki are considered to be the 6 bad qualities in this world: lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy, fear, and is that it? I missed one out. Madness. That's the big one, isn't it? Madness. Another name for madness is pride. Even in this world of pauper is proud of his penny. This is the situation of Kamsa. He's got so much anarchy in the heart, even though he's actually an elevated person in regards to knowledge. The Vedic kings, even if they were demons, they read Shastra and they studied Shastra. Even Shukracharya is the spiritual master of the demons. He's a demon and he knows Shastra. And so as, we can make so much endeavour to understand these scriptures left by our acharyas, but unless we understand the mood that they actually are giving, then we'll miss the right path. So there's there's Vani, but you know, we always say Vani is so important, even if the Guru is not there, spiritual master. But Vapu is also very important, in that, you know, Satam Prasanja Mama Viri Samvido, Vajanti Vitkana Rasayanakata, Tajoshna Abha Bhavanga Varmani, Shradaratir Bhakti Anukramishiti. That, you know, in the association of devotees, pure devotees, then it becomes very easy to practice devotional service. Their instructions, personal instructions, are satisfying to the ear and pleasing to the heart. And by those instructions we become advanced and freed from material contamination. And then our real service begins to Krishna. So this is what this verse is talking about, a devotee who's, you know, feeling happiness because he's experiencing that reciprocation from Krishna. That reciprocation is always there to some degree, otherwise there's no ability to make any progress unless there's some, you know, some juice, some sukha, some happiness. And so Krishna is doing that. But when it comes from the heart, when the heart is purified, then that's what really satisfies Krishna. Just like people give us service maybe, if it's done in a begrudging mode, then we don't really want that service. You know, it's like a little bit of an insult. But when it's given with a heart, full heart and a half. Has anybody heard that saying? A heart and a half. It's stated in Ireland, Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. Give it with a heart and a half, they'll say. It means that we don't give it begrudgingly. In India, what do? They give 1,000 rupees and one. This means that here, that's to show that this 1,000 rupees is not given begrudgingly. We're not trying to give 99. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking to reciprocate with Krishna on this platform of spontaneity. And that means we have to be attracted, we have to be freed from an artist, freed from our misgivings in this world, and then, you know, we can attain the platform of being steady, where we're not, you know, there's so many, we're in the material world, things are going to be up, down, left, right, you know, we're going to be tossed in this material ocean. But a devotee is convinced that, you know, this is actually good for me, because it's making me realise this material world is actually an incongenial situation. And in that situation, it's actually being determined in his devotional service. And so, you know, the nature of a demon like cancer is that he's competitive. Have we got any competitors in the temple room today? Put your hands up. All the competitors. Yeah, we're brought up to be competitive, is that right? What did they say to you when you, as soon as you're old enough to understand anything? You know, your mother and father start to teach you how to get on in life, right? What's the first thing they tell you at school?
Have a good note.
What?
Do you have a good note? Good grade?
Yeah, but they also say, don't copy. So that's the beginning of the competition, isn't it? You've got to actually do more than the next person. And so this becomes part of our nature, and it's very difficult to give up. Even in devotional service, we're actually maybe functioning on that platform. Of course, there's devotional competition, is that right? Where we, you know, we compete to push the other side forward. I heard one story about in the early days, probably Dayananda Maharaja knows this story. He knows quite a few Sankirtan stories, but the devotees, there was 2 vans, and it was a marathon, Christmas marathon. And so one party in one van, they finished the starting very quickly, and then they went, and then while they were, just before they went into their own van, they let the tyres down on the other van. So this is not competition. And so that's what material competition is like. We have to, and this is Kamsa's situation. Ishvara aham bhogi. I am the controller and I'm the enjoyer. These are the 2 big things which keep us locked in this material world. And so the process of devotional service, actually, Kamsa's situation was that, it says earlier in the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Vasudeva came with the first child, and he offered it to Kamsa. And Kamsa was really, affected by that. He thought, wow, he's keeping his word in such a difficult... He said, don't worry, he says, take it back. I only fear the 8th child. The 8th child will kill me, the other 7, you don't worry about it. But, Vasudeva couldn't trust him because he was actually a materialist. And in due course, he changed his mind due to the association of his, friends and his other compatriots, other kings and princes. They convinced him that, you should kill all these children. And not only that, Narada Muni convinced him. And so in that part of the Bhagavatam it explains that, Vasudeva, he says, for a devotee, he can tolerate anything in his life because he's actually practicing devotional service. He can undergo any difficult circumstance. But for a demon like Kamsa, there's nothing abominable he won't do when threatened. And so he's been threatened twice so far, once by the omen. Kamsa, you fool! You're driving the chariot of your sister. Don't you know that the 8th child will actually kill you? Immediately he took her hair and he was going to cut her head off. And then now, even the children of Devaki have become a threat, and he's ready to kill every single one of them. You can't believe a person could do that, could you? This is lust. This is what it says in Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Mahashana Mahapapa. It's the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. And so, the devotee is very cautious about this. A little bit of lust in the heart, if we don't watch it, then it becomes increased. And then, at some point, it's never ending. Just like now it's not quite on the subject, but just to show how lust works. In Manchester, it's one of the gay capitals of England. I don't know about Europe or anywhere else, but it's, one, and it's, you go through Manchester and over the last 10 years, it's just been exploded. Before that, you hardly noticed anything. So this is the nature of lust. At any moment, it can really explode. And why is that? Why is that gender? Unfulfilled lust. We don't control lust in married life or in relationships, and after some time, we're still not satisfied. And then it becomes perverted and more perverted, and there's no end to it. So Cancer is on that platform. He has some lust, some greed, and it's just expanding exponentially. He's even prepared to do what to kill these children. Yes, so it says that this particular relationship between Kamsa and Krishna is actually a Krishna conscious relationship. in one respect, if we remember Krishna, whether we're a demon or a devotee, we get some benefit. But we're talking about a devotional benefit. For a devotee, this type of relationship is hellish. This is what this person is saying. And Krishna will reciprocate exactly in conformity to the way that we reciprocate. The example is when he left Vrindavan. When he left Vrindavan, he went to Mathura to the wrestling match. And when he entered the wrestling match, there's a description of what he saw. And there was so many different people in the arena. Some weren't even devotees, but he saw them all in different ways. He saw the general mass of people as, first of all he saw the gopis, he saw them, sorry, a bit the wrong way around. The different people in the arena saw Krishna in a different way. And Krishna reciprocates with that. The gopis saw him as Cupid personified. The yogis saw him as the, Yogeshvara, the best of all yogis. The general devotees, they saw him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And but Kamsa, or the wrestlers, they saw him as death. The wrestlers saw him as a huge thunderbolt of a person. He was only 8 years old. And it's interesting that picture of Krishna, where he's actually fighting one of the he's pulling Kamsa off the stage. He's got huge muscles. So that's how the wrestling. If we reciprocated, you want to fight? Okay, I'll be a suitable combatant. And Kamsa, he just saw, here comes death personified. So Krishna can do that. It's called Rasika Seka. So that means he's always searching for ras, for a reciprocation. This is why he came as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually. Two reasons the Lord appeared as Lord Chaitanya. One is to distribute the Sankirtan movement. That's the external reason. The internal reason was he was actually curious and amazed that his devotees, especially Srimati Radharani, were experiencing so much bliss in our service. And he was thinking, I don't feel like that. And so he appeared to actually taste that. So this is Krishna. He's always searching for newer and newer aspects of relationships. And so in the beginning of the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the question is asked by Parikshit Maharaj, is Krishna partial to anybody? He said, this devotee seems to be in bliss all the time. What's the matter with him? And we may not feel like that. So Parikshit Maharaj, he said that the demons are always being killed by the demigods. The demigods always win. He says, why? And so then Shukadeva Goswami started to explain that that Krishna has no enemies. It's not that he favours anybody more than anybody else. He just reciprocates according to that person's service. And but we think that Krishna thinks like us. Anamanyate Jagat. We can't see beyond our own perception of things. And therefore we superimpose our consciousness on Krishna. But no, Sukadeva Swami is explaining this point that no, Krishna is beyond this. And therefore and then he gave the example of a conversation between Narada Muni and King Yudhisthira. remember in that pastime, King Yudhisthira was amazed that, Shishupal, even in the middle of blaspheming Krishna so many times, Krishna decapitated him. And then everybody saw that a big effulgence came out of Shishupal's body and merged into the body of Krishna. And he thought, what? That rascal? How did he get such a... So this is proving that, Krishna's impartial. So it's up to us in our devotional service. We can either be Kamsa orientated, or we can be, or we can be pure devotee orientated. Ye disamam shavadante tam sitaiva vajanyaham mamu vartante anishapatha sarvasha. As we actually reciprocate with Krishna, he reciprocates with us. So what we're experiencing is up to us. If we want to experience a bliss called Krishna conscious life, then we actually exhibit that in relationship with devotees and Krishna. And we can only really do that when we start to come off this bodily platform. I was reading in the pastime of Jad Bharat and King Rahulgan. And, eventually Jad Bharat revealed his real identity. He wasn't a dumb and deaf person. But he started to speak the philosophy, and Maharaja Rahulgan, he was actually shocked and frightened, because he realised he'd hurt a pure devotee, or he spoke in an untoward way towards him. And so then Jad Bharat, he started analysing what Rahulgan had just said to him. He actually, insulted him in so many words and been so sarcastic. And so Jad Bharat started to answer. And what did you say now? Oh, that's right. He said that the austerities we perform in this world, Prabhupada actually elaborates on it in the purport. He says the austerities and tapasya that we do is solely to bring us off the bodily platform. Because when we, whatever we're experiencing, any difficulty, I don't know whether anybody else has had that realising, at some point we think, wait a minute, there must be an easier way than this. And we start to think about taking shelter of Krishna. And, seeing things from a different standpoint. Has anybody had that realisation? No? Otherwise, we just caught up in trying to solve the problem. But when the austerities and tapasya becomes, when it becomes very pronounced, then we tend to, realise that we can't deal with it, and we have to take shelter of Krishna. So that means coming off the bodily platform. And because when we're off the bodily platform, then we can actually function. Then we can function as a devotee. Then we can reciprocate with other devotees. Then we can reciprocate with Krishna ultimately. It just talks a little bit about the impersonalists. So, ultimately the impersonalists, they cannot maintain themselves because they cannot be happy. Anybody who's not a devotee, he cannot be happy for any length of time. You can get some relief from this suffering condition, that's all. There's one verse. Krishna Bhakta Nishkem Ataiva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhikame Sakala Ashanta. That, Krishna Bhakta Nishkem Ataiva Shanta. It means that because a devotee is nishkam, is desireless, is not trying to satisfy the body, then he's peaceful, he's happy. Even great yogis, jnanis, and successful materialists, because they design something, even though it may be very subtle, some subtle enjoyment, then ashanta, they cannot have that peace. And so, we should see that whatever, like Queen Kunti, whatever difficulties we do face, there is an opportunity to actually become Krishna conscious. And, then in due course of time as we become Krishna conscious, all these austerities we're actually performing, and all these difficulties, they'll be forgotten, like that. Has anybody had that experience? We have some pain, maybe very severe for quite some time. I was thinking, when am I going to get over this? And then as soon as it's gone, it's forgotten. So this difficulty, any difficulty we face, very quickly will be forgotten as soon as we become Krishna conscious. So, Lord Chaitanya encourages it in that way. There's one nice verse. Mahaprabhura Bhaktaganera Vairagya Pradhan Yahandeki Prishana Gaura Bhagavan. He says, renunciation and austerity is what sustains the life of a devotee. It sustains his devotional service. For that reason I just mentioned. He says, when Lord Chaitanya sees the renunciation of his devotees, he becomes very satisfied. So Lord Chaitanya is the greatest renunciate. And Lord Chaitanya is also the greatest enjoyer. He performs tapasya, and by that performance of tapasya he enjoys unlimited happiness. And so a devotee it doesn't have much tapasya actually. What's the biggest tapasya is to remember Krishna. That's the difficulty, remembering Krishna in every situation. Yena tena prakarina Krishna smarana niveshaya sarva vidya nishedeshu etayaya kinkara. So somehow or other in every situation we have to remember Krishna favourably. Krishna smarana niveshaya sarva vidya nishedeshu. This is the last word in Shastra. Etayaya kinkara. So, this particular section of Bhagavatam will, hopefully encourage us to, look on things from the bright side. There's one saying, one materialistic saying a friend once told me, said that we had a lot of rain yesterday, right? The rains in April are the showers that bring the flowers in May. So in other words, April showers, April rains, maybe not very congenial, but very soon there's going to be the sun and the flowers. So this is material life even, it's not going to last. Any difficulty, it's not going to last. It's going to last for some time, then it'll be over. And so, a devotee has to learn how to tolerate. This is the first instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, right? What's that? Matra Sparshas Sakuntya. Shitashna Shukadukada. Agamapena Nichas Tam Sitikshas Prabhada. If we tolerate, then we can see, what is actually the reality of the situation. If we don't tolerate, we get caught up in the to's and fro's of the situation. So, last thing, so, the pleasure, the pleasure that we actually feel from sense gratification, it's real, but it's temporary. And actually, it's the most dangerous thing. Bhagavad Gita tells us that this lust, if it's not controlled, in the fourth Prabhupada says, he says that feeling of happiness we get from enjoying the senses is our greatest enemy. because we'll actually try for it again. And not only that, we'll actually become more inclined to try and enjoy it again. So there's a bija and there's a kutta. The bija is a seed of enjoyment in the heart, and kutta is a tendency or the desire to enjoy it. So when we enjoy something, that kutta or that shoot starts to become stronger. And it's described in Srimad Bhagavatam that that's what drains us, our devotional enthusiasm. Just like if you've got a lot of reeds you get a lake and there's a lot of reeds in the lake, what happens to the water level of the lake? It goes. So it says these reeds, these material desires like reeds. They suck out all the devotional service. Like the reeds suck out the water. And we become dry. So anyway, we can stop there. So we should be like Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. They gave up, so much opulence we can't even, calculate. And then they went to live under a tree. Can you imagine? If you offer that to somebody. But they were blissful. And the devotees like that. The more we actually renounce, the more happy we will become. There's less to bother about. So this is the instruction of Lord Chaitanya to avoid becoming, following the path of Kamsa. Okay, we can stop there. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Got 5 minutes left.
I heard once in the class that how intelligent men like Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami left the government of their position, wealthy position, to sleep under a tree, like we say, and how they left so much to receive so less.
Why they did that? Is that
So
what
the answer was, in fact, they left so less to receive so much.
they left?
They left less to receive much. Under the tree they have much more than what they left.
Oh, that's a comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't purchase happiness. Nietzsche said Krishna Prema Sajikalanaya Savanadi Srishati Kaliyotadai, that it's eternally situated in the heart. We don't have to go anywhere. We just have to know how to cultivate it, that's all. By the proper mode of living. So that's Krishna's blessings, that if we do the right thing, we feel some pleasure. And we realise that this is not just ordinary pleasure. We've got pleasure from something which we didn't have to endeavour for. The only endeavour is the, austerity and tapasya of practicing devotional service. And that austerity and endeavour only lasts up to the point of becoming free from material attachment. And once we come to the platform of being fixed and obtaining a higher taste, a real taste, then, it's effortless. Vitaraya Vayakvada Mamayana Pashatana Mahavajana Tapsan Utimandaram Agatan. Oh, that's a long verse, isn't it? Vishayamini Bhagavante Niharashkadena Raso Bhagam Rasopyasha Param Drishva Nivadate. Param Drishva, the higher taste. We're always likely to be attracted by the lower taste, and therefore we have to follow rules and regulations. But when we have the higher taste, it's just effortless. Sometimes Krishna gives us that higher taste, is that right? I remember I was on the Bhakti course, and at Bhakti course you like to wake you up at 3:30 in the morning, and then you've got to go to Mangalati, and by the time you get through the program, you're enlivened. But that waking up. And one day, I've been there about a month, and I woke up and I just felt completely awake. And I jumped out of the sleeping bag, and I just ran to Mongalati. And all the way through the morning program, I was like in bliss. I thought, wait, well, tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, the next day, we're like, because we have to work for it. We have to work for it. Anything else? Okay, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi.
Ki